Hi everyone, this is Carissa at Sprinkled with Glitter, and I am here with a card project. Today my card project is featuring these printables. They're by Celine Navarro. They're from the Hello Hello Studio Calico June release, and I thought that Carpe Diem piece would be really fun. So I started out by just printing these printables on some vellum paper, and then I'm going to trim that Carpe Diem piece down. Once I got that trimmed down, I have a piece of watercolor paper here that's slightly larger than my journal card piece, and I'm going to be creating a watercolor background for the front of this card. I thought the Carpe Diem piece just really lent itself to a watercolor look, and so I'm going to do that here. I have my Ranger craft mat and a little spritz bottle here, and I just started by spritzing my watercolor paper with some water, and then those twinkling H2Os, which is the watercolor that I'm going to be using, I spritz those with water as well. That just kind of helps activate them. Then with my various brushes, I'm just laying down some color. I'm using this really light pale pink at first at the top of the card. And then I will go into kind of this orangey color here, and I'm just letting these kind of overlap. And I am by no means an expert at watercolor. This is something that I am just kind of playing around with here and having fun. And luckily, watercolor is one of those things that you don't have to be great at. You can just go for it and have a good time. The final color that I'm using is this bright green, and I thought this color combination was perfect for summer, and so once again just allowing those to overlap. Now the color wasn't quite as intense as I liked it, so I went back in and just pounced some more color into each of those different bands of color, and that really helped to really intensify and get the amount of color that I wanted on my project. So once I get that all finished, I can set that aside to dry, and I'm going to work on this journal card piece. I thought it would be really fun to have that heart at the bottom in gold instead of in the black. So I am going to emboss that, and I'm just prepping the entire surface of the journal card with a powder tool from EK Success. And then I'm going to use this Versamark pen to color directly over that heart. Now, my pen picked up a little bit of the printer ink, but that's okay. I'm just going to scribble it on my craft sheet here and then just wipe it with a baby wipe, and it was good as new. So once I have that ink laid down, I'm going to add my gold embossing powder. And then I'm going to use my heat tool to heat emboss that. Now when you're embossing on vellum, you want to make sure that your heat tool heats up before you start bringing it to the paper, and then just move it really quickly. I'm not embossing a huge piece here, so luckily it didn't warp too much. And then while I had my heat tool out, I went ahead and dried that watercolor piece. And then I took the journal card with the watercolor piece and just stitched that on using some gold thread at my sewing machine. Now to keep these little loose thread ends from showing on the front of my card, I'm just using my foam adhesive that's going to adhere it to the front of my card and just sandwiching those loose ends between it to keep them from showing. Now this printable is also from the Hello Hello release from Studio Calico, and it is by Hello Forever, and I thought it would be fun to have this black and white stripe peeking out from behind that watercolor piece. So I went ahead and trimmed that down and then cut it in half, and I'm going to add some tape runner adhesive just to the center of those vellum pieces, and I used my craft mat there, my cutting mat, to make sure that I was getting those directly in the center of that Nina white card base there. So I just put it on either side. You won't see the gap in the middle because that watercolor piece is going to cover it up. To bring in the gold again, I thought I would bring in some of this vellum. I just love this vellum from Studio Calico, this honeycomb pattern. And once again, I'm just going to put adhesive right in the center of that where it will be masked by the piece that's over it. I'll put that right in the center, and then I can trim down the excess with just a pair of scissors. And then all those layers will kind of be peeking out from behind this watercolor piece. So I went ahead and exposed the adhesive on my foam adhesive, and then I'll adhere that watercolor piece right in the center of my card there. One more touch of gold, and I thought I would use these Studio Calico gold sequins, and I just love these because they're not too shiny. And to adhere those onto the front of the card, I'm just going to use this Matte Multi-Medium by Claudine Helmuth and my Quick Stick by Lifestyle Crafts, and I'm just picking them up with the sticky end, and I'm just dipping them into that adhesive and then using the little pointy end that comes out of the back of that tool to adhere them down to the front of the card. So that completes my card for today. Just a really fun and bright summery look. You can find links to all the products used in this project in the YouTube description, as well as over at my blog at sprinkledwithglitter.com. Thanks for stopping by today. I hope you have a fabulous day.